Jonathan and I had what I thought was a perfect marriage. 15 years, 2 beautiful kids, a home we built together. He was my rock, my best friend, my everything. Or so I believed. The illusion shattered on a Tuesday, a completely ordinary day, the kind you never expect your life to implode. It started with a simple request. My sister was visiting from out of town, and I wanted to show her the photos from our last family vacation to the beach. Jonathan had taken them on his phone, promising to upload them to our shared family cloud account. Weeks had passed, and he kept saying he was too busy. "I'll get to it this weekend, Eleni, I promise," he'd say, ruffling my hair. That Tuesday, I was tired of waiting. "Hun, can you just airdrop me the vacation photos?" "It'll take 2 seconds," I called out as he was getting ready for work. He was in the bathroom, and he yelled back, "Sure, just open up your phone." I tapped on my photos, waited for his name to pop up on the airdrop screen, and then the transfer started. Simple, right? The progress bar filled, and the first photo appeared. It wasn't our son building a sandcastle. It wasn't my daughter splashing in the waves. It was a woman, someone I'd never seen before, laughing into the camera. She was lying on a hotel bed, wearing one of Jonathan's favorite t-shirts, the faded gray one he wore on lazy Sundays. My heart stopped. I scrolled. The next photo was of her and Jonathan, their arms wrapped around each other, a city skyline I didn't recognize behind them. They looked so happy, so comfortable. My breath hitched. This had to be a mistake. A joke? Maybe a work colleague? But the intimacy in their pose, the look in his eyes. It was the same look he used to give me. I kept scrolling, my hands trembling. More pictures appeared. Dinners at fancy restaurants I'd never been to. Selfies in a car that wasn't ours. A picture of her hand, a delicate silver ring on her finger, resting on his. The sound of the shower turning off upstairs jolted me back to reality. He was coming down. I quickly swiped out of the photos, my mind racing. What do I do? What do I say? He walked into the kitchen, humming, looking for his keys. "Did you get the photos?" he asked, smiling that easy, charming smile that had once made my heart flutter. Now it made my stomach churn with acid. I couldn't speak. I just nodded, my eyes fixed on the kitchen counter. I felt like a stranger in my own home, in my own life. He pecked me on the cheek, completely oblivious. "Gotta run, late for a meeting. Love you," he called out as he walked out the door. The words "love you" hung in the air, a bitter, poisonous echo. For the rest of the day, I was a ghost. I went through the motions of making breakfast for the kids, driving them to school, and talking to my sister, but I wasn't really there. My mind was a chaotic storm of betrayal and questions. Who was she? How long had this been going on? All those late nights at the office, the business trips that seemed to happen more and more frequently. It all clicked into place with sickening clarity. That evening, when he came home, I was ready. I spent hours staring at those photos, memorizing her face, the curve of her smile, the way she looked at my husband. The pain had crystallized into a cold, hard resolve. I waited until the kids were asleep. He was on the couch, watching TV, just like any other night. I walked over and stood in front of him, blocking his view. "Jonathan," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "We need to talk." He looked up, annoyed at the interruption. "Can it wait, Eleni? The game's on." I held up my phone and showed him the first picture, the one of her in his t-shirt. The color drained from his face. For a moment, he just stared, speechless. The confident, easygoing man I knew vanished, replaced by a cornered, panicked stranger. He started to stammer. "Eleni, it's not what you think. It's a misunderstanding." A misunderstanding? Was I misunderstanding the picture of them kissing? Or the one of them in a hotel room? I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I felt an eerie calm descend over me. "Who is she, Jonathan?" I asked quietly. The dam broke. He confessed everything. Her name was Chloe. They'd met at a work conference over a year ago. It started as just a fling, he said. The classic, pathetic excuse. but it had become more. He was leading a double life, our life, and his life with her. He told me about the secret apartment he'd rented for their meetings. He told me about the weekends he claimed were for work, but were actually trips with her. Every lie, every deception, came tumbling out. He cried. He begged for forgiveness. He said it was a mistake, that he loved me, that he didn't want to lose our family. But how could I believe him? The man sitting in front of me wasn't the man I married. He was a liar. He had systematically deceived me for over a year, smiling to my face while he was building a life with someone else. All it took was one careless mistake, one wrong swipe on his phone, for his entire world of lies to come crashing down. That night, I asked him to leave. Watching him pack a bag was the most surreal experience of my life. This was the end of my marriage, the end of the life I knew. The pain was immense, a physical ache in my chest. But underneath the pain, there was something else starting to grow, a sense of clarity. The days that followed were a blur of tears, difficult conversations, and telling our families. It was heartbreaking. But through it all, I never once regretted my decision. The trust was gone, shattered into a million pieces, and I knew I couldn't live with a man I couldn't trust. I couldn't unsee those pictures. I couldn't unknow the truth. It's been 6 months now. The healing process is slow and painful, like learning to walk again after a terrible accident. Some days are good, some are filled with anger and sadness. But I'm finding my strength. I'm focusing on my kids, on myself, and on rebuilding a life that is honest and real. Jonathan's one mistake didn't just expose his affair. It exposed the truth. And while the truth hurt more than I could have ever imagined, it also set me free. I deserve better than a life built on lies, and now, I'm finally on a path to finding it.